What did White play in Rubinstein Dürer Karlsbad 1911? I won't tell you the guideline now, not to spoil the fun. Just go a bit deeper into the position. White is better, of course. He has more space. His minor pieces are much better. His rook's more active. But how to make progress? The guideline is that defender of weaknesses shall be exchanged. But okay, this is a very dangerous guideline and it must be explained in a bit more detail. Of course, the bishop, okay, it can defend a weakness easily, but it shall not be exchanged. This is not the meaning of the guideline. It is about usually of defenders either of very important weaknesses, and when they fall, the whole position falls. But this is not the case with the d6. If the d6 falls, then the bishop f8 gets activated. Also, it has also advantages for black, so it must be treated with care, the d6 weakness. But if the a6 falls, it's different. If it falls more or less for free, then just the inroads are open there. White's rooks can come, and White has a pass b pawn, and so on. So the queen should be exchanged. The queen defends the important a6, and the queen is the last really good defender of the weakened light squares in black's camp, and there are really a lot of weak squares, and usually such defenders are meant with this guideline. And furthermore, in this position, White's queen has no really good job. It could be taken from the board. Okay, then White loses 9 points in static material value, but otherwise White's position is fine also without the queen. The queen has no really important job at the moment. So Rubinstein played queen f1 to follow up with knight e2 to exchange queens and win. Without queens, black's queen side collapses immediately. There are other ways to win, but I like this example nevertheless very much, as this diagonal queen retreat. Diagonal queen retreats are the type of moves which humans most often overlook is a diagonal queen retreat. Yeah, it is just somehow a beautiful move that this retreat makes black's house collapse. Okay. Knight c8 is too passive, but even after the better rook c7, it is clear that White should be winning in the long run. Knight takes d6, on the other hand, would be a big mistake. Check, exchanging queens, and then knight c8, and the pin is even unpleasant for White. The d6 is not so important. It is better to keep the d6 weakness on the board and to win the a pawn first, and then activate everybody later, and maybe win the d6 late in the endgame. White must be winning here, but it is a better practical try for black, as black has more active pieces, which makes White's job harder. After knight c8, Rubinstein just followed his plan. And now, he of course insisted on exchanging the queens. How to continue? To just exchange the weaknesses on the queen side? No, of course not. The side with the playing for the win wants to preserve winning potential, and the b3 pawn is very important, winning potential in a way. Yeah, this is a pawn which wins the game for White. Okay, but first, how to deal with the invasion of black's rook. Yeah, the active pieces of the opponent should be exchanged, of course, or forced back into passivity. Yeah, and now Rubinstein activated his king, brought the king to the queen side, and then converted his solid extra pawn with his superb technique. So, defender of weaknesses should be exchanged, but this is very important how to how to interpret this guideline in the right way. And yeah, it should be the weaknesses should be whole color complexes or very, very important squares or pawns. So black's queen is a defender of important weaknesses, all the light squares in black's camp, while black's bishop is not meant with this guideline. The bishop has indeed the potential to defend weaknesses, but it is a bad bishop, and it is not important to attack those weaknesses directly in the short run. This will tell in the long run. So don't exchange this bishop. Exchange the queens here.